Welcome to Family Life with Mama Rita. I hope you have been taking good care of yourselves. Oh my God, I couldn't wait to remove my marks. I was so tired of it. I wanted a bit of fresh air. I wanted a bit of oxygen. I wanted to breathe well. But my darling, the fact that you have removed your marks doesn't mean that you shouldn't take good care of yourselves. Please, still wash your hands. Still sanitize your hands. Don't pack yourself, in a place where there are too many people. No hugging, no shaking of hands. On Sunday, Apostle General wanted us to hug. I refused to hug because COVID hasn't gone completely. Please, let's take good care of ourselves. For the past weeks, I've been talking about the different ways of having babies. Different ways of having babies. And I talked about the natural way. I talked about the IVF. I talked about the artificial insemination. I spoke about surrogate. I spoke about one thing we don't want to hear, stepchildren. They are all part of it. And then I also talked about adoption. And I promised you that I was going to come in with a doctor to talk to us. Oh my God, God was so much on my side. I didn't just get a doctor, I got two doctors. With me in the studio today is Dr. James Boachi. Dr. Boachi is a dynamic, I like that, Ghanaian specialist, obstetrician, and gynecologist. He is a product from the University of Ghana Medical School, Accra, a member of the Ghana College of Surgeons, the West African College of Surgeons, the European Society, I'm not in the studio with a small man, the West African College of Surgeons, the European Society of Contraception and Reproductive Health, and the European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology. I'm hearing things. Please forgive my ignorance if I don't pronounce them well. I didn't go to the medical school with them. He holds a master's degree in Public Health International from the University of Leeds in the United Kingdom. We've had one doctor here who is a specialist with the University of Leeds, Dr. Vanessa. Dr. Vanessa, thank you so much. And God bless you for coming to Family Life. And then he trained in surgical procedures at the Guangdong Hospital for Women and Children. You can tell where Guangdong is, in China. He is currently the head of obstetrics and gynecology in Lekman Hospital in Teshi, Accra, and part-time lecturer at the Family Health Medical School, Accra, Ghana. Also a medical partner at Y&B Medicare. His special interest is in family planning and IVF, in vitro fertilization. And then my second doctor is Dr. Eugene Ban. Dr. Eugene Ban holds an MPhil in chemical pathology. Wow. Trust me, today the studio is shaking. I can feel academics, and I receive it for my children and my children's children. First, to introduce sperm DNA fragmentation testing in andrology in Ghana. Wow. Also the vice president of the Ghana Association of Clinical Embryologists. I hope I'm mentioning it well. And then embryologist consultant medical laboratory scientist at Jubil Specialist Hospital, Sakumono. Doctors, you are welcome.
Thank you.
This is Family Life, and people are watching you from across the world. First, to Dr. Boachi, what is infertility?
So we say a couple is infertile when they have they've not been able to achieve a pregnancy.
Okay.
Within a period of 1 year.
Okay.
After they
within a period of 1 year.
After they have had adequate, unprotected sexual intercourse.
Wow.
When then they are not getting pregnant.
Okay.
When we say adequate, it means at a minimum of 3 times a week.
3 times a week?
So like every...
Oh my God. Some men are in trouble. 3 times a week.
And that doesn't mean you do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you are done. Alternate.
Okay.
The idea is that you'll be able to catch the ovulation time.
Okay.
When the woman is less than 35,
okay,
we use 1 year.
Okay.
But when she's more than 35, then we reduce it to 6 months.
Wow.
Because the woman has a clock, so we don't want to prolong it too much.
Okay.
So if that has been done, a couple have this experience and they are not getting pregnant, then you want to investigate and say they are infertile. There's infertility, so you want to look into it.
Wow.
And it's both male and female. We have both male infertility.
Please tell them.
And female infertility.
It's both what?
Male and female. And
male and female.
And mommy, this point is very important.
And I hope the in-laws are listening to me. That male and female, not just female.
I like the part about the in-laws. Just right. 2 days ago, I saw a couple.
Okay.
The woman was actually crying.
Oh.
Because it's not her fault. It's that the man has almost like
low sperm.
Very, very low, and it's not just low, it's bad and all that.
Wow.
And they are not getting pregnant. And the family people heap insults on her, and she cannot go telling them that it's the son. So she bears the brunt of it and all that. And a lot of this, because when you say infertility, you take 100%.
Wow.
40% is from men, 40 from women, and then the 20 together combined, unexplained. So it's not a thing in the when you say like, oh, it's only the women who are infertile. It's as much as a problem with the men as it is with the women. So it's important that we know. And then they will say, oh, they send the woman to the hospital, go and check.
Go and check.
As if they are fine.
Refusing to check. I have men who are refusing to check because for them, men don't have issues. It's the woman.
That is a big lie. That is a big lie. And now we see it a lot, even in young men. You see a lot of young men, the sperm count is so bad. You look at this, he will tell you more about sperm count. You look at the sperm on the microscope, wow, is this a 30-year-old man?
Wow.
So the men also have issues. So it's important that, I always say that infertility is a couple thing.
Wow.
The man and the woman have to come together. The man doesn't sit in the house and send the woman, go and check. And when you even give them the test to go and do the semen analysis, they don't want to do it.
Wow.
So it's a couple thing. And it's a problem with men as much as it is with women.
We will come to causes of infertility. But Dr. Ba, I handled a case not too long ago. They've been married for about 5 years, and they are hoping to get married. And just like the custom is in Ghana or Africa, is always the fault of the woman. But you know, Ghanaian doctors are doing very well. After they handled the lady for a while, they asked her to come with her husband. The husband went, and it was discovered that the husband wasn't producing sperms up. I mean, how possible can a man not produce? I understand when it's low, but to be able to have sex, you see something come out, and they tell you that what is coming out is actually not sperm. How is it possible?
Nature is wonderful.
Wow.
And that situation where something comes out of a man, but there is nothing in it, it's not anything new under the universe.
Wow.
We have it in percentages. Some men, if you call about 10 gentlemen, strong, you select them individually or randomly from the public, you will get one of them who will give you the semen and there will be nothing in it.
Nothing.
Yes.
So what is it that comes out?
Now, it is the fluid part that comes from other parts of their reproductive organs.
Okay.
Some will come from the prostate, and some we call something vesicle, seminal vesicle. It also produces its own fluids. But the sperm itself is produced in the testicles.
Okay.
And it comes to store at the epididymis. So whenever there is the urge for a man to ejaculate, all these things come together before they come out. Wow. So a man, where the production site is, if he's lacking the cells that produce it, which could be a lot of things that cause that kind of malfunction to produce.
Wow.
And then the fluid that comes together, as long as he's having that kind of activity, the fluid will come and then comes out.
And he enjoys the sex.
He will enjoy himself
orgasm,
and
everything.
ejaculate. But the content, it is the content that makes him that fertile man.
Wow.
Yes.
So when we talk about low sperm count, what are
when we talk about a low sperm count, it means that the mark that man is having, like this number of sperms he's having in the semen, is not up to the standard mark.
Wow.
In fact, it should be 15 million and above by the World Health.
15 million
and above by the World Health standards. But some may have just about 100,000. Some may have 15,000. Some may have 1,000. Some may have 10 million. As long as you are below. But we have it in grade: mild, severe, and that is termed oligospermia. So whenever somebody goes to see the clinician and then they request for a test to be done, and then the embryologist writes that, oh, he's having a severe oligospermia, it means that it is very low.
Very low.
And it's not only the low in the concentration of the sperm. Sometimes their shape, the morphology of the sperm. In fact, it is made in the form of like a tadpole. You know, when you see a tadpole in the gutters, that's how you should see in that picture. You know, but some of them, their heads are double. Some, their tails are double.
I see.
Some, the head, instead of looking over and having a tip that is a little bit egg-like, to be able to punch into the egg and then enter, is completely circle.
I see.
And it devoids it from entering the egg. At the same time, some will also have it like a pinhead. And that pinhead will not have the content that has to go enter the egg to make the information sharing for the baby to be formed, like the fertilization to take place. And that is also there. Some too, they are mid-piece. You know, it has the head, the middle part, and then the tail. The middle part might be deformed. And that deformation will cause it not to be able to move. Yes, there's something there that is called mitochondria. And that is where the energy house for the sperm to move is situated. So if that side is deformed, it means it will not be able to propel the tail for it to be able to move directly to hit the egg and be able to enter. So the head, the mid-piece, and the tail morphology is another thing. The function of the mid-piece to give it energy to move is also a problem. And then the number as we count. Some may even be able to produce above the mark of 15 million, but they will all be dead. So you tell them all be dead. And that may be as a result of some kind of genetic problem that the person is having, the kind of medications the person is taking, people who smoke, people who take excessive alcohol, all these things can contribute to that.
Wow. So, would it be okay that before you get married, you take your husband to the hospital, let them check, is he producing sperms, or the sperms is very low? Is it possible? And it can be worked on before the marriage?
This question has come up several times, but my point is that what is the essence of the marriage? If it's companionship and then child. I know when you go for marriage counseling and other things, now we check for sickling, because and then HIV and all that.
That's right.
We haven't added semen analysis to it because
we need to add it now.
Well, maybe pros and cons. Probably
we are checking for HIV and HIV and what?
Hepatitis, all of that.
Sickle cell.
Some people on their own would come.
Okay.
I know that some of my clients, they come in, they are not even get ready to marry. They want to check if everything is fine. So they do it. Some of the men also go and check on their own before. Okay. But I mean, I don't know any church which has a policy that you have to do the semen analysis. Probably we can look at it, but then again, so if there's no semen, then what, you marry? So I'm sure it goes deeper. So maybe the spiritual people like you when it gets there.
We'll look at it.
The spiritual people like you can look at that.
We will look at it. So Dr. Ban, let me ask you this question again. If somebody is not producing sperm at all, medically, can it be solved?
In fact, when it is nothing at all, we have ways of finding why it is coming that way. And in that sense, your clinician will request that you come and do the test first. When the test indicates that there is nothing in it, they will refer you to urologist as a man. And then he will check, he will take some biopsies and check if the testicle part where it is stored, there are some in there or not. If there is nothing there, and then they will also check further to the cellular part that if you have something that is called spermatocyte in there. If you don't have that, in fact, before then, a lot of tests, hormonal checks will be done. And then confirm that you have the hormones that help you to produce those things. If it happens that there are problems with the hormones, then they can help you with a corrective way to get the hormones back. But if it happens that the hormones are there, but still you can't produce, then it means that the basic things that are in the testicle that you need to produce, it is not there. And that part, when you get there, it means that it will be very difficult. I'm not saying impossible, because in medicine there is nothing that is called impossible. Yes.
And then, just to add up to what he said, there are certain types of them in the men, they produce it, but there's an obstruction for it to come out. So when it's like that, when we do a biopsy, you can actually see the spermatocytes and everything. So then again, we do something called TESA. It's a high level thing where we cut the testicles itself and the sperm is removed from there. They give it to him and they would actually get the sperm out for IVF purposes. So depending on what the problem is, sometimes you can find a solution. Sometimes you have a condition called undescended testes. Instead of the testes coming down into the scrotum, it stays in the abdomen. Wow. So such a person, there's nothing that you can do for it. You have to just even remove it because even there it can be cancerous. So when you find it like that, you have to remove it.
You mean that it's not?
When you fail the test, there's nothing in it. Wow. So it's undescended. See, that's why the mothers do that a lot. They always check it to see if there's something in the children. So it's important. So if it's an undescended test, I mean, it hasn't come down. And God, in His own wisdom, put it outside because it needs that temperature to be able to produce. When it's inside, it's too hot. So if it's inside, it will not be able to function well. And it has to be out from there because that's not the normal place for it. It could turn into a cancer or something. Then it has to be removed. So in a case like that, then you have to be talking about donor sperm and other things. But if it's there and it's an obstruction, then it can be taken out from the body of the tested itself and then used for IVF purposes.
I hope a mother out there is listening, especially the young mothers. When you have baby boys, please let's not take things for granted. Let's test it. If the thing is there, if you'll be able to have grandchildren through your son, you should be able to know. I mean, these are things we didn't know, but now knowledge abounds. And the Bible says that for lack of knowledge, we perish. But let's thank God for family life. We are receiving a lot of knowledge. And with the knowledge we are receiving, let's make good use of them. Dr. Boakye, what are some of the causes of infertility?
So, infertility, there are several causes. But if you want to group them, you can have genetic. Then you can have drugs that we take can also cause people to be infertile. Yes. And then you can have structural deformities. I always say that for a woman to get pregnant or for a couple to be able to get pregnant, certain things have to be okay. Now, the ovaries secrete the eggs. That's where the eggs are produced from. So they should be functioning well. Now, when the ovaries release the egg, they pass through the tube. And then the tube is where the sperm and then the egg meet and then they fertilize. So the tube should be open, it should be patent, it shouldn't be blocked.
Okay.
And when the tube is fertilized also, it lies in the middle of the uterus, the endometrium.
Okay.
It should be receptive. It should be okay to be able to receive the fertilized embryo. And then the sperm that is even coming in also has to be good to be able to swim through the cervical canal, move into the tube and then fertilize. So the cervical canal should be opened, and then the sperm should be also okay. So if anything happens in such a way that any of these processes are not okay, then there's a problem. The commonest we see in our environment is tubal, for the women, is tubal factors, the tubal blockage. The tubes are blocked. And once the tubes are blocked, the egg and the sperm cannot meet. And this results from untreated infections. Most of the women, because of our habit of doing over-the-counter treatment, and then some of the women, when they have, we hear of a lot of stories, they get pregnant, they go and terminate, then they take concoctions, they get infections that are not treated well. Pelvic inflammatory disease are not treated well. So once that is done, it's not treated well, then you have scarring forming, and then the tubes get blocked. So the tubal factors in our environment is one of the highest causes of infertility. So once the tubes are blocked, it's off. So that's for the woman, that is it. Then you come to you can talk about drugs. There are some drugs that people are on for to treat certain conditions that may also have an effect on the production of the eggs and all that. It will not work.
What are some of the drugs?
There are certain drugs that I remember we had a client who, it was a man who was taking a drug for epilepsy.
Yeah.
So when we did the procedure, we took the sperm, and were they dead or something? I think they just died.
Wow.
They came up and then they just died.
Wow.
So we wondered, why is this like that? Then we later found out that he had epilepsy, so he was taking the medication for it, and that was the side effect of the drug. So drugs can also do that.
So it means that we also need to know the side effects of the medications
that we take. And then lifestyle. Alcohol and smoking. One of for the men, it's there. Smoking, alcohol, very low bad sperm count. So you are below the normal, just like Eugene said, and then you can't fertilize. So that is also there. And then lifestyle habits. I mean, you see, the testis is outside for a reason, because you don't want a lot of heat. So if you're in an environment that is always heated up, like cooks were already in a heated environment, and then also said that the motorcycle riders, the hood when they sit on is very hot. So you are boiling the testes. So they become deficient. We also result in the quality and the quantity of the sperm coming down. So this can happen. And then when you come to the woman again, I'm mixing them up just for us. One of the commonest ones around is also Eutran Fibroids. That is a topic that we talk about all the time. Because depending on where the fibroids are, they can prevent, they can occlude the tube. And then even some are even so much in the cavity, the endometrium, such that even if there's fertilization, implantation would never occur. So structural problems when it comes to the woman. So, and then also the hormones. There's one hormone that we check to make sure that your ovaries are functional, I call it AMH, anti-Mullerian hormone. And then you can check it. It gives an idea whether you are still ovulating well and all that. So if the hormones are working well, that's fine. Sometimes you can see a 30-year-old woman, I have clients like that, and she's gone into premature ovarian failure. She's hit her menopause.
Wow.
She's gone into it. The ovaries have stopped functioning. So such a woman cannot produce eggs to get pregnant. So the ovary has failed prematurely. So it's premature ovarian failure. So she's there. She cannot be able to have children. And then,
Dr. Boachile, please don't forget your point. With this one, would you advise that when couples get married, these days you hear, "Oh, I'm not ready for a child. Let me get used. Let me enjoy the marriage a bit. Let's get to know each other very well. And they are waiting 1 year, 2 years. Some people even wait 3 years, and then when they are ready, would you say that when they get married, they shouldn't stop pregnancy from coming? They should just allow themselves.
This question comes up all the time. I help with the marriage counseling in my church, so it comes up. I know couple when they examine, they say they don't, maybe the first year you don't want to get pregnant too. But I think that, I mean, that's my thinking. If you get married and you get, at least just get one, then your life goes on.
Please talk to my daughter for me.
You get one,
talk to my daughter.
And then life goes on.
I've been worrying her.
Because the time doesn't wait for you.
Time doesn't wait for you.
And for a woman, when you hit 35, the AMH just begins to fall like something. I mean, if I did your AMH level to test the ovarian function when you were 35 and had maybe a level of, let's say, 5, and I did it again in a year or 2, it's possible that I'll get it to about 3. Wow. And then in the next 6 months or something, it goes down. Wow. Sometimes it goes down drastic. As I have a client right now, I'm seeing, she's 38, and the AMH is just gone, and she just can't understand why. I was there yesterday. She just looks like she just can't understand. Wow. Why did I wait long, and all those questions. But that is what it is. Wow. So I say that you see, when fertilization occurs, and God says that you are a woman, and then you are born, you have about 100 million eggs. It's given to you like that.
That's right.
By the time you start menstruating, you hit your menarche, you have about 400,000. Wow. And then every month when you are ovulating, you are releasing one, some are getting lost. So for the woman, you are different from the man. You are giving a finite number, and you are losing it. You don't produce anymore. As for the man,
so we keep losing.
You keep losing, but you don't get back. The man, every 3 months, he's producing new sperms. Every 3 months, he's producing new sperms. So that's why even if it's 100 years, he can still impregnate, because once everything is fine, he's producing. But for the woman, it gets to a point, the eggs are finished. And when they are finished, they are finished. You can't do anything about it. And we are seeing a lot. Wow. We are seeing a lot. I mean,
please, the young
people are
ladies
postponing.
Coming up, unless you don't want to have a child, when they come for counseling, I keep advising, you get one, put it down. After the one, if you like, wait 15 minutes, 15 years, at least you have one. If you don't get again, at least you have one. You won't have to come back to my office, worry me for deliverance, for prayer, for please. I keep telling the young ladies these days, for them, oh, I married at 24, I married at 25, I married at 28, why the rush? Let me have fun. And I know a lot of people in our church that waited, and when they were ready, and like you're saying, if you are not protecting, and you are not doing anything, and for 1 year, there's no child coming, then you know that, hey, I need to rise up, I need to go for medical attention and all that. Please tell somebody for me. So,
and you see, the thing is that, apart from not getting pregnant early, when you decide you want, it doesn't mean when you decide you want to get, it comes like that. The stress that you've been going through alone also doesn't even make you get. You know, there are couples that he asks them when they come to the clinic, one of the questions you ask, so how many times do you have sex in a typical week? Oh, during the ovulation. So the timed ovulation, and now you have the ovulation kits and all that. And I don't, yes, I believe that you cannot exactly tell when you're ovulating.
That's right.
The kits can tell you, yes, but when it's happening in the body, it's difficult. When we are doing our procedures, we control the environment, so then we can tell exactly when you're ovulating. We go and pick the eggs and all that. But it's very difficult. That's why we talk about the 3 times a week, so that at least you can catch the. So if you have at least one, the stress levels reduce. Yeah. I'm sure you've heard of stories where people, they were not getting pregnant. When they started getting pregnant, they started having a lot of children because the stress levels reduced. Wow. But when your infertility sets in and there's a lot of stress on the man and the woman, that the stress alone becomes a factor. It's a factor on its own for infertility, prevents from getting pregnant. So, as you are saying, it is important that, I mean, when we marry and we are marrying early, at least when you get one, then you know that everybody knows that, oh, the girl, she's fertile, she can give birth. Before they start insulting you, you are infertile and all that. And even sometimes with the one cry, sometimes they will still insult you.
They will still insult you.
It's only Bakopen or what? It's only one. They will still insult you.
I know somebody who had 2 children and was quarreling with somebody. Typical Ghana neighborhood. And she was insulted as Kenny. Kenny means you are barren. She has 2.
Wow.
2, and they were insulting her as barren.
So
we will go on a short break, and when we come back, we want to look at the different types of having children. The different types of having children. I think you want to know, so you get yourself prepared. Let's go on a short break and we'll be back.
Royal House Chapel presents Easter Celebration 2022 with the Apostle General Sam Crunchy Ankra. Theme: He nailed it to the cross, Colossians 2:14. Join us in this celebration on the following dates: Palm Sunday, Sunday 10th April at 8 a.m. Good Friday, morning service at 8 a.m. and a power-packed all night at 9 p.m. with water and salt feet washing. Resurrection Sunday, joint morning service at 8 a.m. and a communion impartation and anointing service at 5:30 p.m. The venue is the Oil Dome, Obechebilamte Interchange. It is Easter Celebrations 2022. The services will also be live on Facebook at Sam Crunchy Ankra, YouTube at Powerline TV and Powerline Television.
Wisdom has a product, and the product of wisdom is riches, long life, and in some cases, God avenging your enemies on your behalf. So riches and honor and success are products of wisdom. And God said to Solomon, Solomon, you hit the nail on the head. Instead of asking God for the recipe that cooks long life, the recipe that produces riches, the recipe that produces honor, they don't go for the recipe, they are looking for the product. Today God says you must learn that the product of wisdom is riches, long life, and honor. So if you want to be a success story, get wisdom first. Get understanding. Once you get wisdom and understanding, the product will follow. Don't go for the product. If you go for the product without the recipe, you will miss the product finally.
Welcome back to Family Life with Mama Rita. If you are just joining us, I have two great doctors in the studio, Dr. Boachi and Dr. Ba, and we are talking about infertility and ways of having children. Dr. Ba and Dr. Boachi, what are the different ways of having babies?
Really good.
In fact, there is a big name.
Okay.
That is the big umbrella.
Okay.
And that's called assisted reproduction.
Assisted
technology.
reproduction. Okay.
Technology. And that's ART.
Okay.
And under this ART.
ART.
Yes. Under this ART, we have the initial one that, I should say, the basic one that gynecologists will start with.
Okay.
It's called artificial insemination.
Okay.
Artificial insemination, in our terms, we will say that Intrauterine Insemination Iui. And that is simply when the couple, after attended to by the gynecologist, they need assistance, and such that the man's sperm is good, the content of his semen is good, and the woman's tubes are also patent. Just that maybe some one or two issues are preventing it. So they will have it. It can even be done in the clinician's consulting room after the semen has been prepared in the laboratory. That is number one. And there is the one that when the tube is blocked, the woman's tube, the fallopian tubes are blocked. There is no way the sperm can go and meet the egg. So it has to be that she's going to go under controlled ovarian hyperstimulation. And then the eggs will be brought out in the lab. Then the sperm collected from the man, it is also allowed to enter the eggs themselves. That one we develop it, and when they get to the stage that is good, we give it back to the clinician, and then they put it back. Then there is the case where this time it is the man. The woman might have good tubes, but the semen or the sperm content of the semen is not good. So this time, we in the lab will have to manually help the sperm to enter the egg. And that is the higher version of the IVF. And that is called Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. And that is simply put ICSI. It's say ICSI. So when you see the gynecologist or your doctor, is it that, oh, because of the way your husband's semen is, we will have to do something that is called ICSI. Means that in the lab, the people are going to help the sperm to enter the egg. Yes. There are more ways now, but that also goes into the DNA aspect, checking for abnormalities to prevent the birth that may come. But they all under the umbrella as the assistive reproductive technology. Yes.
Dr. Boachi, do you have anything to add?
So basically that's it. I mean...
We will go and watch a short video and then we'll be back. And whilst you are watching, let your questions come in. And people have already started sending so many questions. And if we are not able to finish this week, hey, I'm going to pull them here. I'm going to use my anointing. I know they are very, very busy doctors. It wasn't easy getting them to the studio, but we'll see what we can do to have them back next week. Let your questions come in. Let's go and watch a short video.
After years of being mocked and scorned by society due to her inability to conceive, 56-year-old Victoria Dogu has given birth to a set of twins at the Lekma Hospital here in Accra. Portia Gabo tells the story of how science, faith and hope came together to make it possible for the 56-year-old who was once described as being barren.
For 56-year-old Victoria Adogu, the desire to be called a mother was so strong that she refused to be referred to as being barren. It's the happiest day of her life as she's about to see her babies for the first time after undergoing cesarean section at the Lekma Hospital. What she's waited and prayed for has been accomplished.
Hold one like this. What the joy. She asked for only one and God has given to me. I said 3.
First of all, Auntie, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Oh, thanks for Jesus and those who are praying for me. Thanks for that.
You are being called a mother now. Has it sunk in your mind yet?
I'm not called a mother. 56 years. And I've tried and been praying. And God have done a miracle.
And not just one, but twins.
Oh, a lot. In the world, we have been praying. At the time, praying. I've been in the most things I couldn't. But God have done a big thing for me. I encourage those who didn't have, they should pray. A time will come, just a little time. And just one day, God will do it.
When Victoria's husband passed on, she thought her journey to motherhood was over, but in vitro fertilization, IVF, gave her hope. This is a technique where a human egg is fertilized with a sperm in a laboratory and implanted into a woman's uterus. In some cases, infertile couples take help of a donor sperm or donor egg.
With medical advancement, it's possible. Once the uterus is there, the womb is there.
we can prime it and then use it to do things for women of her age to get pregnant. So it's very possible. Somebody introduced her to me. She's 56. She doesn't have a child, and then she wanted to have one. So there's a process. We screened her, hysteroscopy, look into the womb to make sure it's fine, and a few drugs here and there to make sure that she responds when we put the embryos into her. And then we did a transfer. You have to wait for 2 weeks to do a pregnancy test. I asked her to do the test. It was positive. I said, wow. So I went to scan her, and I said, wow, it's not one, it's two. This woman, because with the age, I'm hoping that at least you put two in, maybe one would take, but she took, and it's been good. God has been good to us.
Despite the risk to the health of the mother and baby, more women are now giving birth in later stages in life thanks to science. In 2019, an Indian woman, Ramati Mangama, a 74-year-old, became the world's oldest first-time mom, delivering twin babies via IVF. It is not known if Victoria is Ghana's oldest first mom, since records are not readily available to verify. In Africa, motherhood is so important that immediately a couple gets married, the next question asked is, when are you having a baby?
How were people treating you when you weren't having a baby?
Hey, a lot. Those who speak good, those who abuse me, those who a little thing you do, they will abuse you. If a child, it's not easy. What I've gone through, it's not easy. But God says, the time I've reached, and I will do you a miracle things. The whole world will see that.
Healthcare workers at the Lekma Hospital gave their all to ensure her antenatal and delivery was a success.
I saw the age and I said, Madam, is the scan for you? She said yes. We practice focus antenatal. So I gave it to my midwife on my right here, Ruth Adashi. And she's the type, when we give her the appointment date, by 7 o'clock she's there. When I get there around 7:10, oh, she's already, Auntie Lizzie, even before the date, the scheduled date, she will call and still remind you that I'm coming tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Yes. And she was compliant to everything that we do. And we give glory to God. We are here celebrating with her. It's a joy. We want to tell the whole public that, yes, Lekma, we can.
This is a very awesome achievement in Lekma Hospital, and we are very excited about it. We think that we want to help erase the stigma that is associated with infertility. And so I want to use this platform to encourage mothers, ladies who have infertility issues, to come to us. We have a competent team that is willing to help and make sure that the outcomes are the best.
Victoria was grateful for their support.
This is my auntie. God bless her. Lord. And I have a doctor called Dr. Boach, James. And the nurses, they are here, plenty.
For many women battling infertility and want to conceive, they cannot pay for fertility treatment since it is expensive.
What I wish is that eventually the government facilities will be equipped enough to do these things fully, because then the price will come down and it will be affordable. Now it's not easily affordable, so most of the women who want to have, children may not be able to access the facilities because they may be a bit expensive.
Her family is elated.
We're praying towards it. I'm also praying with her. We go to prayer ground, we pray together, we commit everything to His hands.
What name will you give your nephews?
The miracle and the miraculous.
Victoria wants the world to know that miracles still happen when you believe, and it is never too late to become a mother.
So I pray for the others. A lot of people, they should have believed that God will do a miracle for them.
Now that you have this miracle, would you go for another one again?
Only God knows.
Portia Gabo, TV3 News, Lekma Hospital, Teshi, Accra.
Welcome back. We want to say a very big thank you to TV3 for covering the story. Without TV3 covering the story, Dr. Ba and Dr. Boachi would not be in the studios of Powerline today. We want to say a very big thank you. And Dr. Ba and Dr. Boachi, hey, this is a miracle. I don't know how you did it. The oldest in Ghana.
Documented. I mean, but it's possible.
It's possible.
But we just give glory to God. I mean, I tell Eugene, I said that we are just vessels in this business that we do, because whatever we do, we don't produce sperm, we don't produce eggs. We just take what God already has and do 1 year, put them together to end. So we are just vessels that God uses. So we just give the glory to God.
Wow.
Yes.
Anyone listening to me, you are 35 years and above, and you are crying, you are wetting your pillow, you are wondering if it will be possible. We have seen it. We have seen it. We have seen it happen. Not in America, not in Ghana, not in UK, not in China, here in Ghana, where a 56-year-old woman has had her children. I know you will not wait till 56. Easter is coming, and my prayer for you that this Easter, the Lord will smile at you. Every woman that is listening to me, that is believing God for a miracle child, I pray for you that the child will come. If God has done it for a 56-year-old, God will do it for you. Hey, Dr. Boachi, how did you people do it? 56. Were you not scared of the age, the complications, and all that?
So that was why, if you listen to the video, I was like, we're expecting one.
Okay.
But God has His own plans.
That's right.
And the miracle about this thing is that she didn't have any complication.
Wow.
From beginning, and the Lizzie was saying the
That's
next
right.
She was just fine till the last time I saw her, and I realized that she was just tired.
Okay.
And then she was about almost 36. So I was like, let's end the pregnancy. And we took the babies out, and they were fine. Bubbly, 2 boys.
Wow.
So, and post-op after the surgery, I mean, everything was just perfect.
Wow.
Yes. So it was a daring move, yes, but as I said, we are just tools in the house of God.
Are you able to determine the sex right from the beginning?
In fact, ethically, in our setup, it is not good to check on that. There are ways and means that we can do it genetically. We can just take some pieces of samples from them to run their DNAs and be able to tell that this is a girl or this is a boy. Yes, you can't just have a look at it and say that per the looks or per the development, this will be a girl or this will be a boy.
No, I'm talking about right from his inception.
Yes.
You can tell.
Yes, you can tell. It is something that can be done, but that is something that they call PGD, pre-genetic implantation testing. And that's why I said you can pick something from them and test to see their sex and then be able to tell.
So assuming somebody has 3 girls, natural birth, natural pregnancy, and is desperately looking for a boy or desperately looking for a girl, can the person go through IVF and then say, I want a boy or I want a girl? I've had 3 of girls or 3 of boys, and now I'm desperate. You know, for some, I know it's not the best, but for some traditions in Ghana, it doesn't matter. You can have 10 girls. If you don't have a boy, that means that you haven't given birth.
So, Rita, this in Ghana,
you
see, we work within laws. And most of us are aligned to the UK laws and things like that. Sex selection in Ghana is not allowed. We are not allowed to. And he said it goes into a lot of tampering with the embryos. So when you start doing that, then you are delving into another, It has to be regulated.
Okay.
Because then you decide whether males or you want to play God in a certain way. So in Ghana, it's not allowed. So we don't do sex selection. I've had our clients like that. I mean, they come to me, have 3 girls. So also the IVF we can do for you, but I cannot guarantee for you whether they are boys or girls. Some countries do it. I know Turkey and some parts of India, they may do those things for you, but in Ghana, it's not allowed. So we don't do sex selection in Ghana.
Wow.
And I know UK doesn't do it.
Even in the US, some people, some of the states do, but not all of them.
There's just too much tampering with the embryo. So sex selection, we don't even talk about it. I mean, it's not. We don't go there.
In fact, the person in the lab has got the strength and the power to do things.
Okay.
You can create a lot of things from what you give me. But we need to know that we are living in human environment.
Okay.
And so everything that you are doing, yes, you can do it for somebody. But the moment you do it and the person comes out, then it means that it has to be something.
Okay.
And so that is why we have to. Nature has a way of making more women and more or less men. But now even the last population, they are saying that we are even getting close to our ratio.
Thank God.
Yes, but
because the number of women who are not married in my church alone.
But if it happens that we are 50-50, definitely it's going to be that still. Some women are not going to get married.
If it's 50-50,
yes,
then everybody,
still,
the polygamy will.
Still. So it is definitely not allowed. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But we can test for sickness, like sickle cell, and autism, and what do you call Down syndrome, the Mungo thing that you can test couples and then be able to select those ones that are not good, and then you just allow them to die off there, but the good ones you transfer into the couple, yes, and then they get it back, yes.
We will go to our co-hosts and then find out how. I hear we have lots of questions, and like I said, if we are not able to answer all the questions, I will plead with my doctors to come back next week. Co-host, Pastor Chief Abel.
Yes, Mommy. Quite an interesting and very educative session.
Very.
So enlightening. We are live on Facebook, Sam Crunchy Ankara, live on Facebook, Mama Rita K. We are also live on YouTube, Powerline TV, and here on your favorite and your best digital station, Powerline TV, across the globe. Keep your questions coming through, +233-200-515253, and we would plead, make your questions as detailed as possible. Where we need to disguise sensitive information, we will do that before reading out. We need details for the doctors to administer the right opinion. We'll go straight to our first question. This says, good evening, Mama Rita.
Good evening, my darling.
Find out from you and your doctors. I was once told that I have a balloon-shaped fallopian tubes. Is it impossible for fertilization to occur in them?
Yeah.
So I mean, yes, I mean, if balloon shape, probably it's a deformity with the tubes.
Okay.
But you want the tube to be patent.
Okay.
So if it's deformed and it's not functioning well, then it means there will be a problem. Because when you look inside the tube itself, there are little finger, we call them cilia.
Okay.
And when the egg is released from the ovary, they sort of push it back. So if it's balloon shaped and it's not working well, you might have a problem. But I don't know what you mean by balloon shape. There are a lot of deformity, maybe it's hydrosalpin, something like this at the ends of the tubes. So yes, if it is like that and she's not getting pregnant, then obviously it's a problem. So she needs to come in for a check and then see what we can do to help the situation. Yeah.
So it's possible she could have children.
Yes, depending on exactly what it is. Yeah.
So my darling, don't give up yet. Go to Lekman, see my wonderful doctors, and I am sure they'll be there to help you. Don't wait till it's too late.
Second question says, can a sperm count less than 1 million be built to yield to fertilization?
So sperm count less than 1 million is severe oligospermia.
Wow.
And in this case, The test will be done, the hormonal test, the blood test also check. And then we will decide if it is something that you can be helped, you'll be given some 3 months, some medications. After that, if nothing changes, you still have something there. And the $1 million is enough. If we are able to get that $1 million from your semen, we will be able to help you get a child. Even if it happens that we have to cut the testicle, we cut and then we can get something out of. Because getting something out, it means that there might be good ones even in the testicles on the day that we need it, and it can be cut. So there is hope for such a person. Yes.
All right. Next question says, good evening, Mama Rita and your doctors.
Good evening.
I was told by a lady that during her infertility treatment, she was recommended to be on a lot of folic acid tablets. I want to find out, is this good? Because I am thinking of taking a lot more folic acid tablet, but she doesn't say she has been diagnosed with infertility or not.
So please don't be doing self-medication. If the doctor says so, that is fine. And before you take any medication, go to the hospital. Let the doctor be sure that you need to take that medication. Don't do self. We know people who have done drug abuse, and there's also been complications after that. Dr. Boachi.
Yes, but just that folic acid is important in early pregnancy to prevent neural tube defects and other things. So if you are thinking of getting pregnant, it's an over-the-counter drug. And then if you have a lot, you just excrete what you don't need. So if you want to be on folic acid because you are thinking of getting starting a family, that's allowed. And it's actually encouraged. Yeah.
So what is enough?
No, just one tablet a day.
Just
it's
one
fine.
tablet a day.
Just one tablet a day is
go
fine. No, if the body will take what it is and excrete the rest, so you'll be wasting it. So just one tablet is fine.
Just like vitamin C.
Just like that.
Dear doctors, I have been visiting the hospital for some years now, expecting a baby. She doesn't mention how many years, but she says, I have often been diagnosed with UTI, urinary tract infections. I want to find out, is this a possible cause for infertility?
So is that person a male or female?
A female.
Okay.
So as I said earlier on, there are several causes of infertility. Just a common urinary tract infection, because the parts are different. But if it's a pelvic inflammatory disease and it's been consistent, yes, it could be a cause for it to be infertile. But just having a UTI doesn't mean that you are infertile. You have to investigate it. We'll check whether the tubes are fine, the ovaries are all of that. So when you investigate, then you find a problem, then you deal with it. If you don't find a problem, then you know what to do. So it definitely should be found, it should be investigated, and the problem will be sorted out. Yes.
During your presentation, Doc, you mentioned that it's possible, I think Dr. Bam mentioned that a woman's egg at some point could be finished. The question is, when she gets to that point, could menstruation still be happening, or when it gets there, it means menstruation has ceased?
No, menstruation can happen. In fact, yes, it happens. Somebody can even be at 50.
Your eggs are finished.
Somebody can be at 50 and still menstruating. Yes, they are different things. But the nature has made it that the system that you have, the endometrium, the uterus, the inner part of the uterus prepares itself so that in the mid when you ovulate and fertilization takes place, the baby will come, the egg, the embryo will come, and then the baby will be formed inside there. So that preparation, when nothing happens, shed itself out, and then menstruation will come. It is something that is done by like every month within that. So preparing the egg, fertilization is one thing. And it happens right after the other. So this one may stop. You may not have the power to produce eggs, but still, because you have the hormones there, your system will still be preparing the endometrium, getting ready to receive. And then nothing will happen. But when the egg is finished, it's still finished until the hormones that controls also begin to diminish. And when the diminution sets in, then you stop completely.
So Is it possible to know that your eggs are finished?
It's possible.
How would you know?
There's a test that he mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So then you can't know by yourself unless you go to the hospital.
Yes. You need to test. Yes.
Wow. So you could be 30 and your eggs are finished.
It's possible. Yes. That's what the premature ovarian failure.
He mentioned that.
It can happen.
Wow.
Yes.
What's the usual average bracket in terms of age that this okay?
No, so if 40, once you hit 40 and above, usually the AMH falls down. So 35, then it starts going down. But then you have 40, 41, it's almost, I mean, in rare instances, you may see somebody who is older than that, who has, but it's not the norm.
Wow.
Yeah, but the 35 is the cutoff point.
Wow.
After 35, a lot of things happen.
Wow.
The AMH, that's what I've seen, it falls like something like it's down, roller coaster going down.
So at age 35, if you are not married and you are scared that maybe by the time I get married, my eggs will be finished or getting finished, can you go to the hospital?
Excellent question.
Okay.
So I have clients like that. So what you can do is that you come and then we'll stimulate you and then we'll get the eggs out and store them.
Okay.
It can be stored for as long as we want to store them. So that when you get a partner in future, then you want to use it for an IVF. You can store your eggs.
Wow.
I actually have she's 27-year-old lady, and she has cervical cancer. So she has to undergo radiotherapy and chemo and all that. That would affect the ovaries. So what we are going to do is that we are going to do a fast stimulation to get the eggs out. We'll freeze the eggs, and then she can undergo a treatment. Later on in life, we can do an IVF for her with the eggs that she has. So it's encouraged. People don't know that is that, but it can be done and stored. You can get the eggs out, and then we can store them.
Is it cheap?
It's not cheap.
It's expensive.
It's
like
expensive.
IVF.
Yes, it's the same process. It's the same procedure.
So you're paying like 40,000.
And then you pay for the freezing because it's also not cheap to freeze. It has to be kept on liquid nitrogen for, and it's also not cheap.
Wow.
Yes. So if you have the easy way out to do it earlier on, then that's why you don't need to, waste time on that.
My darling, don't waste time. 23, I had my engagement. 24, I was wedded. 25, I had my firstborn. I didn't waste time. I haven't regretted. It hasn't changed the relationship between my husband and I. I don't know what you were doing during courtship. Courtship is a time of knowing each other. So if now you want to get to know each other within the marriage, and because of that you are waiting to... I won't talk again. Wow. So it's not cheap to freeze
No, it's the same procedure. Just that now we have, because you don't have a husband, we haven't fertilized it. We haven't put the egg and the sperm together and then put it into you, but we've taken the eggs out. So that's the major work.
It's like you've gone to rent a house for your unborn child somewhere.
Wow.
Because keeping it alive for the years to come that you will need them, it's expensive.
So do you pay for rent?
Yes,
you pay for the rent.
After they've taken it out?
Yes, you pay the rent. Every 6 months, you come and pay.
To be kept.
Wow.
It's expensive to keep it. Liquid nitrogen is very expensive. It has to be changed frequently to make sure that it's kept alive.
So have you had the instance or occasion where somebody came to freeze the eggs but got married maybe 2 years after and had eggs?
So it all boils down to like how soon you got married.
Okay.
Because if you were 30 years and you froze your eggs and then you got married at 33 and you're able to have babies in the natural way, of course, then you don't even want to bother about that, because when you come back, then you are going to pay for other costs again, the transfer fee and all other things. So yes, if the easy way out is there for you, you take it.
So what happens to the money I paid?
It's the procedure has been done.
Wow.
And you see, we are talking about IVF. We also should know that IVF is not 100%.
Okay.
It's not a one deal go. I tell you, if IVF was 100%, we'll be very rich guys. Because when you come, then you pay the money. We know that you are going to get pregnant.
That's right.
But it's not. People do IVF 3-4 times. I know someone who has done it as much as 14 times.
Wow.
Yes.
And each time they pay.
You have to pay. So it gets to a point that sometimes you have to do it for them, pro bono, humanitarian grounds, because then you feel for them. I mean, you can get really emotional. It's a very stressful business. Sometimes you think that, so at least I want to retire, I want to stop doing this. But then you look at the joy you put in family and move, then it keeps you moving. So they call you, oh, Bunny, your child is 7 years, 10 years. The party, when you appear, they say, baby papa has come. I say, I'm getting in trouble with my wife. So those keep you moving. Wow. I mean, look at Victoria.
That's right.
The joy, so they keep you moving. But it's not always the case that you go in and you get pregnant. It's not 100%. So I remember there's a month that we got 100%. So last year, August, I mean, everybody got pregnant. It was a very good time. I mean, we were so excited.
100%.
It was. I think it was only one person who didn't get, but it's almost like it's not a norm. Yes. So it's
worldwide, the percentage is just around 35 to 40. Wow. So if a center is achieving like 50, 40%, then they are excellent. They are doing well.
Wow.
Yes.
So it means that it's something that you don't just leave for medicine. For us as believers,
yes,
you must add prayer to it.
Of course.
That's what I told you. That we are just vessels. And I tell my clients, that's the last thing I tell you when I consult you. I ask you, do you have any question? I say, well, once we are finished, I'll do the best for you. We've trained, we've traveled, and we've trained. We go for conferences. Because of COVID, every year we go and update ourselves. We meet people from even now we are doing them on Zoom, other countries, trying to find easier and better ways of doing things. We are studying every time to make ourselves better. We do that. We do the best for you. That I can assure you. But whether you get pregnant or not, I sit in here, I cannot assure you. He cannot assure you. There are sometimes, I remember the same time we'll do a case and then he look at my face, he'll come and question. So I said, that person will come and is pregnant. And then we'll do a case and he said, everything is solid. Endometrium is like that. Embryos are, but the person will not get pregnant. And that is where you see the hand of God at work.
Wow.
That is where you see the hand of God at work. So it's exciting. I mean, I say that it's a spiritual business. That's how I see it, like that. Because we do what we have to do, but whether you get pregnant or not, it's not in anybody's power. No doctor can tell you that I'm going to do this IVF for you and you get pregnant. He doesn't know. I mean, he's not.
My darling, there are so many things we take for granted. A 75-year-old man went to the hospital and was supposed to be put on ventilation to get oxygen. And then he started crying. And the doctors didn't understand why he was crying. So they asked him, why are you crying? Is it the money? Don't you have enough money to pay? He said, listen, the number of years I had fresh air, free air, and I didn't pay God for the air I was breathing. My darling, let's be grateful to God. You have one, you have two, you didn't pay, you didn't struggle, nothing. Every year, whatever church you belong to, go there and say thank you to the Lord for what he has done for you. People are paying 40,000, people are paying 50,000, people are paying more. I am hearing that some people have done it 12 times and you have 6, you didn't struggle for it. And you think it's normal. My darling, it's not normal. God has been so good to you. God has been so kind to you. Anytime you wake up in the morning and you see your children, remember to say thank you. It means I owe God a lot.
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
hey, it's becoming
the questions
emotional.
are dropping in.
Wow.
The 2-in-1, this one says, Doctor, please, what are the side effects of IVF? And can I have a natural, normal birth after an IVF? I know you mentioned it, but probably
yes.
she just joined.
So, I mean, the side effect that I was talking about offline was, multiple pregnancies. That's a side effect that we don't like. I know when people hear triplets, quadruplets, they are happy, but
they are happy.
That's not what we want. We don't want that. If you get two,
and that is what
it's
you
okay.
call side effect.
Yes, there's a side effect, but people like it's a like
No,
side
so
effect.
what is the side effect? Because I'm happy if I'm getting 5 at a go.
This is more, let me say, medical and
Okay.
in academic.
Okay.
More in other countries, they don't even put in more than one. They do SET, same game by transfer, because they don't want you to have more than one.
Okay.
So they put in one.
Okay.
So yes, so the most side, and then maybe during the stimulation, that's why we do a lot of check. But sometimes you get overstimulated, may get bloated and all that. And there are other issues. It's a surgical procedure.
Okay.
When we are taking the eggs out, so
Okay.
those ones. But by and large, for the procedure and the outcomes, the side effect is multiple pregnancies, which for academic purposes and international level stuff, it is not wanted. It's a side effect.
Wow.
But I know when you come into a locality,
We love it.
but even now in our realms, if you are getting more than 3, 4, you don't want to talk about it. It's not done.
Wow.
So when they are low, there's something called fetal reduction, that you can reduce the number of embryo, the fetuses that you have to get 1 or maximum 2, but not more than that. And about the
having
natural birth, yes, you can have it, but you see, it's because when you come for an IVF, it's because you have had a challenge with getting pregnant, fertility treatment, for a prolonged time. Most of the time, you are even above 35. So you don't fall in the bracket of a woman who would have a natural vaginal delivery.
Okay.
Even if you didn't have IVF and you are 36 years, and then you came to see me and I took care of you, I wouldn't allow you to deliver yourself.
Okay.
Even with that, with your age alone, the cutoff is 35 for our purposes in Ghana here. So we'll do a cesarean section in a controlled environment because the baby, baby is precious, but this is like a precious. We are old and all that, so we do a cesarean section and then take the baby out in a controlled environment. But if you insist that it's my choice, I'll just educate you, counsel you, you document it, you sign. And everybody knows that I did my part. And then you take the whatever happens. So it's not like it cannot be done, but we don't encourage it. Yes.
But what the question was is, you can have IVF and have
naturally get pregnant.
Yes.
Yes, it's done.
Okay,
yes.
It's done. It's there. Because there are some people whose eggs are, we see by the test that it's depleted.
Okay.
Probably 35, between 35 and 40.
Okay.
And then they accept donor egg.
Okay.
After delivery, some come back having natural pregnancy.
Wow.
And it has happened to some people.
And sometimes even in the preparation, I've had clients that sometimes we have for unexplained infertility. Whilst you are preparing them for an IVF, they get pregnant. So I tell them, look, depending on the circumstances, we are doing this, but don't stop having sex. Continue having sex because miracles happen. Wow. I've seen it before. Yeah. And one of them, so after that, another one came, and now she doesn't want to get back. Actually, I've had 3 or 4 of them. One of them, then eventually, last surgery said, tie my tubes. I don't want it anymore. So it happens.
Great. Well, I like that part where the doctor said, continue having sex.
That's all you heard.
Yeah, that's all I heard. We'll continue. The weather too is good. Yes, sir. All right. This says, good evening, Mama Rita.
Good evening.
Please, I want to know if there is hope for someone with premature ovarian failure with AMH of 0.13.
I don't understand. You will understand.
What does it mean? And
I'll let Alex, he does the AMH. He will do those labs.
You know, the AMH is a test that is done to assess how many eggs that is left in the ovaries.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then talking about pre-ovarian failure, it means that the person might be either young, having a problem, or getting into the maybe after the 35. And that is the time that if she had never conceived to birth before, it means that majority of the eggs are gone. Wow. You know, we have an analogy that we compare eggs quality and then the best ones like a tomato in a bucket in the market. People that goes there early get the best ones. Okay. By the time you get there late, all the good ones are gone. You get the best ones and then the abnormal ones left. The same thing happens within the ovaries. Okay. And so by the time you are 35 and above, that AMH thing is reduced. Okay. Because it is there as a sign to prove that, yes, you have more. So a younger person at the age of 16 will have a higher one.
Okay.
But somebody who has depleted all the egg will have lower. Okay. But to have a 0.1, in fact, the reference range is from 0.9 to about 9.5.
Okay.
And somebody having even a 9.5 at 30, we tend to see that the person has a problem. Because you shouldn't have it that high like that at your age.
Okay.
So 35, if you're having 6, then something like PCO is in there, which is even a problem for him to assess you and then bring you for us to work on you.
Okay.
So at that level, having that value, 0.0, it is very less.
Very low.
0.1. The less should be 0.9. 0.9. So per your age, added to it, is going to be...
She didn't indicate.
Yes, but your clinician will tell you. In fact, if all things being equal, if they even force them to do it, they are not likely to get any good quality eggs from you. No.
So then when it comes there, then that we get to the realms of donor eggs. Where we get eggs from a younger person, and then if you have a partner, we use your husband's sperm, and then we put it back into you to carry. So you will carry everything. Just that if you did a DNA analysis, it will not. But you carry it, and then, I mean, it's one of the commonest things we do, and it's so wonderful that I remember one client here. A problem was, so will this baby look like me? Now she delivered, and she got, doctor, hey, the baby looks like me.
Wow.
When can I go again?
It was a donor egg.
Yes. And she's asking, when can she go again?
Wow.
Because it's just like if you can adopt a child, and this one you are even carrying it. You understand? So it's a way out for a lot of the women, and it's available.
And I think it's something we need to teach the Christian women, especially Christian couples, that if you can adopt donor egg, donor sperm, there's nothing whatsoever.
Because we don't produce it. It's what God has given to us that we take. It's like somebody, and you see, the donors, we give them something. You can't pay a donor for an egg. I was telling a client, you cannot pay somebody for their eggs. It's a gesture that what you give to them is just a token. Because what can you give for life? You can't. So if we say donor fee, it's for their transport, and they are going to get the injections, something for them to be able to be comfortable when they are doing the process. In other places,
they also go through injections and all that.
They would have to go through all the injections, go to theater to do the retrieval before we fertilize and put into you. So when you are doing a donor cycle, the recipient is virtually doing, you don't do a lot of work. The donor does all that work for you.
Wow.
So I tell my clients that it's what they take is just a token.
Wow.
So I mean, it's not like you are paying them for it, because you can't pay them for it.
Wow.
It's a token.
Wow.
So then they do it for you, and then we put it back into you, and then you carry it, and then it's there, and it's done. And I don't think that, I mean, as you are saying, it's not. We don't produce anything. It's what God has given to us, that somebody is giving you some because He has more and is sharing with you. So it shouldn't be something that we should frown upon.
Is it possible an individual's body can reject a donor egg?
So if that happens, that means it won't take implantation. It will not. Okay. But for the processes that happens in an individual, we get a lot of pregnancy. But because we have to do other things to find out why you are not pregnant and all that. So if there's some form of rejection in any way, then you will not get pregnant. But we have a lot of donor cycles, and then
there is something that needs to be added here too. People think that when you take the egg from somebody, their spiritual background and things follow them. But the question I keep asking the client when they come is that, okay, what about going to a children's home to adopt? Somebody that is fully made, brought out. Have you had opportunity to assess their spiritual background? But here you are with an opportunity to take only an egg or a sperm, where your partner's 50% contribution is going to be added, and then you have that 100 in you. Except that if you are the woman who accepted the egg, you do not have your egg, your genetic material attached to it. Is it not excellent? Having 9 months in contact, that kind of connection. A husband will be there in the night, he will just rub his hand and then say that, I bless you whilst you are there, I bless you.
Enough time to even deliver if there is any spiritual connection.
You know?
That's it. If we believe that we can pray for them to leave from us. Why can't we take the genetics, the gametes, and then work on it, than to go and take a fully made witch or wizard into your home? No, I think this is the best way. And God, in his own infinite wisdom, has given the knowledge to human.
Okay.
Yes, and so it is not bad.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you have in Ghana now women who can just walk into the hospital and say, I want to donate an egg, just like you can go and donate your blood?
We've had some before.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We had some before.
So, so there are agencies that deal with them.
Okay.
So they have them, they screen them, and then some of them have done it once or twice and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
So and they are anonymous donors. So you don't know them, they don't know you, they never get to meet you. Nobody will come and tell in future that this is my egg that you collected. It's anonymous.
So I can come and donate my eggs.
If you have.
I still have it.
If you have.
So you don't necessarily have to go and look for a donor.
No, we don't. We do that for you. So I have my clientele. I know you need a donor, so I just call the agency. Okay. And sometimes I remember one who said, "Oh, I want somebody like my wife who is Coca-Cola and all that." Somebody cares. I want intelligent, this, and I want hairy. So I give it to them. So because they have the database, then they can get a donor to.
So you can say, I want an intelligent.
Yes, you can say all that you want. You may not get all the package in one, but like you want a fair person, a dark person, tribal. Someone says, I want this tribe, I want that tribe, I want a fat one. All that they have. I can show you my phone. A lot of requests on it. I just forward it to the agency, and then they get somebody in that because they think that it will make the person look more like them when they deliver. I mean, but I tell you that. I've seen that it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't
because
really
when the babies come out, they look like the woman. I don't know how it happens. But they look like them. And
you know, even adoption. I have people who have adopted. And years down the line, the children tend to look like them. How God does it, honestly.
Mama Rita, this story you're saying, I have a couple, they are my friends, and then help them with adoption. And they look like the father. My wife will ask me, are you sure you didn't help this guy? Where I get this baby from? Somewhere. It's like, no. But what you're saying is perfectly true. So these are the mysteries that you are saying, like the God is in control of all of these things.
Look,
before the next, I know we have a lot of questions. Before, you were saying that you helped somebody with adoption. So it's part of your area. You are able to.
I mean, yes, I have had clients. So I have friends at the social welfare. Okay. So if it gets to that point that we need to adopt, we link you up with it. They'll bring you forms, we fill and stuff for you, and then they adopt. It's also part of it.
That's the last part of the
resort. I mean, it's part of it. Because I had a client like that, and then she was saying, "Oh, my boy, it happens. It's also part because
now people are complaining that adopting in this part of the world is getting so difficult.
Yes.
So if you can help, I have a lot of mothers.
So it's not like I just would direct them to
at least you help
the social welfare people. Somebody is there, and then you go through it. You know when it comes to childbirth, if you're not very careful, people can do a lot of things.
That's true.
That's why it's become also very difficult. So it has to be regulated very well. To make sure that people don't just do things and then get babies for people. That's why it's a bit difficult. It has to be a bit strict. That people will not just come and take babies and go away. That's why it's becoming a bit difficult like that. So, but it's done. When it gets to a point, we encourage adoption. I have a friend that just link you up with them. They do the processes. It may be long, but that's the last resort when all things have failed.
We'll talk after the show.
Yes, Mommy.
All right, several of them coming in.
Wow.
The first one, and there are a lot of questions on how much does it cost to do an IVF. There are a lot of questions, so I'm sure you will touch on it. We have been trying to get a child for the past 2 years to no avail. She will be 34 this year, and I will be 35 next year.
Wow.
What should be our options? Please advise.
So, the options you have will depend on what the problem is. We need to investigate and find out what the problem is. As I talked about the egg, the sperm, the cavity, the tube, and all that, there are tests that we'll do to find out all of that. So when the assessment is done, they will know what the problem is. Then we zoom in. So definitely they have to go for an assessment. And if there's a problem, I mean, as you said, you can't be there and know that you don't have eggs or your sperm is low because you still have fluids coming out.
Yeah.
So you think, you don't think that because you're ejaculating and you're getting fluid, you have sperms. It doesn't work like that. So he has to be assessed. After the assessment, we know what the problem is. And based on what the problem, we'll tailor the solution to fit it.
Okay. Dear
Before
doctor,
we close, you will let us know if people want to see you where they should come.
Right. Good evening. Please, doctor, is it allowed for any younger woman to come in to test and check if their eggs are accurate? As far as their AMH you have mentioned is concerned.
So as I said, you can come and check and find out. But you see, it's also not a guarantee that you get pregnant.
Yeah.
There's something we call unexplained infertility. You see, couple, everything is fine. The man is fine, the woman is fine, but they are not getting pregnant. That's why I say that this pregnancy business is a spiritual business. Wow. Do you understand? So yes, you can come and check. Yeah. Everything is fine, but that is not a guarantee. Like all the time when you are going to do surgery, especially fibroid surgery for the women, they say, oh, how will it affect my fertility? Can I give birth? I say, well, I'm going to take the fibroids out because we want to enhance your fertility chances. But I cannot assure you that you get pregnant. That one is in the hands of God. I'll do my best for you, but I cannot tell you that immediately after the fibroid you get pregnant. But basically that's what we do to solve the problem, but I cannot assure you. So yes, you can test, but that is not a guarantee.
Okay. This one says, good evening, Mama Rita.
Good evening.
Can surrogacy be counted as an option if the woman's uterus cannot carry a baby?
I mean, we do that too. I mean, it's done. It's a bit stressful though, but it's done. I mean, because you don't have a uterus. And just like people have had such problems, they had to take their uterus, but even some of them even have the ovaries. You take the ovaries, get the sperm together, and somebody carries for them. There are agencies that deal with them. They see their lawyers, they sign agreements, they take care of them. When it's time for the delivery, we deliver the baby, and then we give it to the commissioning parents, and then whatever they've agreed to give you, you take it and then go. So it's done. Surrogacy is available in Ghana.
So do you also look for such women?
Yes, so the agencies do that because it will be too much stress for us. So there are a lot of agencies. So I tell them, look, yes, I need a surrogate for a client. I mean, they'll get the surrogate for me, and then I'll do everything, and then they come together, do the paperwork and all that. So it's done. The agencies that deal with that. If I add it to my job, I won't sleep.
I know.
All right.
So at least it's not that bad.
No, it's not.
You don't have to go around looking for...
We take a lot of the stress of the client.
Okay.
So you just, and I like it like that because not even getting there, it's also stressful already. So we take the stress off you, and then the agencies deal with that. I mean, so sometimes you are there, and then you tell you, oh, your baby is this old, because you don't meet the surrogates. Your baby is old, and some of them are now, oh, buy this, go and give it to them, you're taking care of them, yeah, whatever. At the end of the day, whatever is DS, you give to them, but then you also take your baby, and then it's allowed. It's a legal something that you do. So,
all right. So this one says, it sounds to me that the process of IVF does not involve sex. So therefore, Mama Rita, I want to find out from you. I am unmarried. Can I opt for IVF from a donor sperm and give birth to my children? Is it allowed in Christianity?
It's something that is debatable now, honestly. A lot of women are asking. Outside the country, people do it. They are 35, they are not married. The guy man will say, it's an no bobo, and yes, bibi ball. So if the men are not coming, I'm not getting pregnant. Well, I'm getting old. Maybe by the time the men come, I won't have enough eggs. I won't be producing eggs, or my eggs will be finished. So let me have my babies now. I think that it's something that the men and the women of God would have to look into it. I know a school of thought that says, no, this is not biblical. And other people are saying, well, that's okay. For me, honestly, as an individual, if you ask me, why not? At 35, 36, no man is coming. You must have your children. So I would say it is possible. But I've sat over a table with certain men of God and certain women of God that say it's like you are being faithless. The man will come, the husband will come. So let's wait, let the man come. So honestly, other pastors think differently, other women think differently. If you come at age 26 and you ask me this question, it will be a big no. If you come at age 30 and you ask me this question, I'll say it's a big no. But 35, 36, 37, you have a pastor, discuss with your pastor. Let your church leadership know that this is not fornication. I need my children. I can't wait. Whoever comes, you must explain to the person that, listen, in any case, for me, if you love somebody, it doesn't matter whether the person has born one, born two. There are people who are married today with no children, and they tell me if they knew, they would have gone in for women who had 2, 3 children already. I mean, I brought people to this studio and they've mentioned that. So I don't know what church you belong to, but talk to the leadership of your church, and then I believe something can come out of it.
Well, we'll keep going. Good evening. Please,
I don't know what the doctor
No, I think you nailed it.
It's excellent.
It's excellent, and that's exactly what I tell them. Let your church leadership know, so that it won't be like you're going to commit fornication.
That's right.
And you just nailed it.
Because there is one thing that we are doing, that the people who does not believe in the God that we believe are populating themselves even through this.
That's true.
And they are taking over us.
That's right.
Fine, we are not going to say that we are going to give room that people should go and do. But there are exceptions.
That's right.
Yes.
You just nailed it.
Good evening. Please, I am 33 years. I have had 2 failed IVFs with Pcos. I'm sure the doctors know what that is. Pcos.
Yes.
I got ovulation syndrome after each cycle. What should I do now?
So,
what does it mean?
Yes, she has polycystic ovarian syndrome, and that's what Jim was talking about. That one, they have the AMH is also too high.
Okay.
So when you give them an injection, during the process of IVF, we give you injections to lay more eggs.
Okay.
So if every month you lay one, now we want about maybe 10 or something, we take them. But these people have a condition whereby the little injection you give them, they lay too many eggs.
Oh, okay.
And that's what when I talk about the complications of that, I said hyperstimulation.
Okay.
So you need to know what the AMH is. Okay. And you know such a person, you have to tailor the drugs in a certain way, in a controlled way, so that you don't get hyperstimulation. And there's a way even now that when usually it's like that, at the first time when you retrieve the eggs, you don't transfer.
Okay.
You let them relax.
Okay.
And then at a second cycle or another cycle, when you haven't given them injections, you do a transfer for them. So there are ways of dealing with that. We have clients who have PCOS. All I need to know is that she has PCOS, and I know how to deal with her, to take all the safeguard measures that will prevent her from having hyperstimulation, and then help her to get. People with PCOS they also get IVF successes. You just have to know what to do. She has PCOS, so you do it in a controlled way. Sometimes we have to wait for a transfer at a later cycle in the life, and then it works out. We just need to know, and we deal with it.
So, if you care to know, in Royal House Chapel, we are specialized in praying for people who are going to have IVF. If you are going to have IVF, the doctors have told you it's not 100% guaranteed. You need prayers. Just call our office, ask for a pastor to pray for you, and then go through it. I mean, we have had real success when it comes to IVF. We have a lot of the women here. All we did was to pray, encourage them, they went through it, and that was it.
All right. This question is actually very straightforward. Doc, please help me. Which day of my menstrual cycle should I have the AMH done?
So the AMH it can be done at any time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there are tests that we say do on day 3 because of the weight and stuff. So day 3, day 21 and all that. But the AMH can be done at any time.
Any day.
Anytime during your
menses.
Whether you are menstruating, anytime within the cycle, it can be taken. The blood sample.
Because it does not fluctuate based on the cycle. It's there. It's what it is. So it can be done at any time.
It's called what?
Anti-Mullerian hormone. AMH.
AMH.
Yes.
I'm learning here. I'm going to medical school here.
But by the time the service is over, we'll get certificates.
Please give me certificates.
This one says, good evening, Mama Rita.
Good
and
evening.
Your great doctors in your studio. Please, my sister was told by a hospital that she's suffering from ovarian cyst and hormonal imbalance. She's been trying for the past 7 years. What does this mean and what can she do about it? Ovarian cyst, hormonal imbalance.
So an ovarian cyst is just how do you say a cyst? It's just like it's a collection of fluid in the ovary.
Okay.
Yes, that's an ovarian cyst. The hormonal imbalance could mean a lot. There are a lot of hormones, prolactin, your LH, the AMH comes in again and all that. They need to be in a certain balance for pregnancy to occur. When it's not balanced, sometimes all we need to do is to make sure that we do certain things, give some drugs, put some hormones at bay, and then you get pregnant. So it's not every time that we do IVF. Depending on what the problem is. So this one, we need to assess her. And after the assessment, once you know what the problem is, it's like now when you go to the garage with your car, they don't even have to do trial and error. They just put the diagnostic thing on, and then it tells them, check this airlock here and remove this. And then you just do it, and then you are gone.
Wow.
So once the problem is diagnosed, then you tailor the solution to that.
Okay.
Hey, I don't know how many more questions we have.
Well,
we might have to continue next week.
We'll drop one or two more. So, Doc, I want to ask, there are instances where a couple have had a child, and then after,
it's not coming again.
It is not happening again. Can that be termed as infertility? What are some of the causes? They may have had the first child, everything perfect, and subsequently?
So when you say infertility, we have primary and secondary. Primary means that you've never had a child, and secondary means that you've had it before and it's not coming. A lot of things can change between the child you had and the time after. A lot of things can change. The man might have had an accident or even done surgery around the testis that has done, or the woman have had an infection that has caused the tube to be blocked. So it's possible, it happens. We call it secondary infertility. Age might have also caught up with the woman. So yes, so you can have a child and then you drop into infertility. That's the secondary infertility. And that also we'll have to investigate and find out why. Because things can change. I mean, the world is dynamic, humans are dynamic. So yes, it can happen. But then we need to find out why it's happening and then probably correct what it is.
Okay. The World Bank released some information last year, which relates to, I think, 2019-2020, on the fertility rates across the globe. And Ghana, if you look at the map or the graph, it's been dropping for the past 30 years. Every single year has been dropping. From between 6 and 7 births per woman, and currently it's hovering around 3 and going lower. What could be the cause for this downward trend? And should that be cause of worry?
Can I start?
Yes, let you just start and then I'll finish up.
Yeah. So number one, in the olden days, education wasn't something that were close to us.
Yeah.
Just very few were going through. Now our ladies, they all want to go to the highest height, PhD, you know. And so whilst you are educating yourself, you are using your eggs down there in the drain. And that is educational aspect. Now, the environment. The environment is having a very bad toll on us. Men are losing sperm, and the trend is going like that. Women, the eggs too, they're also losing it. Some at 24. The expected egg that we wanted, we can't even get it up from there. So young girls are also losing eggs. And it is all about the environment, the kind of things that we find ourselves in, the gadgets, the mobile phones and things. If you say it aloud, maybe your head will be cut because it is a booming economic thing for the world. But it is also having its own effect on us. At the same time, our work, the work that we do sometimes demands that your lifestyle is going to change. You're going to put in some kind of medicines and medications to keep alive, to be able to do more work. Because somebody will have to do extra and extra to be able to get enough to take himself because he wants to live in a duplex. So the way we expect things in life, that's where it says lifestyle, also contribute to this. And in the olden days, people were just eating fresh foods. Now our food might be 3 weeks in the fridge, you just pick and then you microwave.
GMO.
Yes, the microwaving is affecting it.
The microwaving?
Yes.
Please, let's tell them.
The longer it stays in the fridge too, it's losing its taste and everything. You thaw food, which is fat, and then you refreeze. At the same time, as you do that, you are spoiling the food. And it's all giving you all these things. There are a lot of things that we mention and call oxidative stress to our ovaries and then to our testicles. And they are all chemicals that fight against the natural way our body prepares us to be fertile. So all these things have got that influence. Education, lifestyle, and then the environment, and whatever we take into our system. All these are some of the reasons that these things are happening. Yes.
And could we also say that because of work, people are having stress, are having less sex?
Yes, that's it. That's it.
And sometimes they come to the clinic, and then he asks, how many times do you have sex? Say, oh, when I'm ovulating. I said, do you know when you're ovulating? Then the man will look into the man's face, and the man looks into the face. Then I ask them, who is usually tired? They are all tired. You know, it's a very good point. Sometimes all you need to do is have sex. They are not having sex. And in the time they are ovulation, they think they are ovulating.
So they are not even enjoying sex.
And then some
using Chinese calendar.
It does. And then some work.
Which one is the Chinese calendar?
Oh, mommy. People are using Chinese calendar, Indian calendar.
They have certain calendars that say you want all this.
Even some will use that calendar to determine
sex
the
and all
sex
that. It's not.
But the time that the dipstick is telling you that you're ovulating, you are standing there. It's telling you that you're ovulating, you are standing there. The egg has a limited time after it is dropped from the ovaries into the fallopian tube. A limited time for the sperm. So the sperm must go there, wait, and receive it. Okay. There's a reason why the sperm, we need more than 15 million. But only one will fertilize the egg. Because from the cervix where it is deposited to where it is fertilized, there are a lot of things even within the woman that will prevent it from going. Some will be, there are scavengers in there, some will be eaten alive, some will have to stand there as bodyguards and pave ways. Right. So all these things, so if you say that the time that you're ovulating, that you're going, from the cervix to the place where fertilization takes place, the sperm will see it as from here to Tamale.
Wow.
So if your egg is in Kumasi, and the time that you're telling that, oh, you're ovulating right now, you are not going to deposit. By the time you get to Kumasi, time is past and the egg is best.
Wow. 3 times a week, you catch
3
it.
3 times a
alternate daily. When you do that, you should be all things being equal, you should be able to get pregnant. Wow. I don't believe in the ovulation. It puts a lot of stress on you.
A lot of stress.
It's even not regular.
It is stressful. So as you say, regular unprotected sex 3 times a week. All things being equal, you should catch it.
Wow.
Please ask the doctor for me, are there any specific foods or drugs that you can take to prevent your eggs from reducing?
And then the sperms too.
The sperm, yes, but see, the egg, that's what we said. It's a finite number that you have.
Okay.
So once you can only lose it, you can't gain it.
Wow.
Do you understand? There are certain drugs that sometimes we give to improve the quality and all that, but it's not like the quantity. It's a finite number. Wow. So yes, some supplements that we will give to like sort of increase the quality of it, but not the quantity. For the sperm, because it's produced continuously, yes, we can give certain medications to help with the quantity and quality and on all of that. But when it comes to the eggs, it's a dicey issue because you can't get it. You are giving and then you can only give out.
The only time a woman can preserve egg is when she's pregnant.
Because she's not ovulating.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the only time. So that's why somebody can give birth consistently at, let's say, in the 20s, from between 25 to 30, she's given to about 4. Okay. And that person can still give birth after 35 naturally, even 40 years naturally. Okay. In the olden days, they were giving birth to 10, 11. But they start early. Okay. 18 years, they've started. So by the time they are 40, probably that's when the last one is coming. And there's been preservation, at least 9 months to 1 year interval. That is a preservation. And 9 months collective aggregate to about, say, 100 egg stored or preserved. Wow. Yes, that's the only way. Otherwise, you come back to the lab and then we keep it there for you. Wow. But that one, you must have money. The outside world, corporate body, I believe Apple in California is doing that for their, Google too is doing that for their staff, that the ladies, that they can preserve their eggs so that they can continue to work, you know. But here in Ghana, can you do that? You can if you are rich. You can. Wow. But the rent alone, if I mention, you just... How much? $500 for 6 months. Yes.
You have to pay for that because the liquid nitrogen...
That is the rent. But the stimulation cost and the retrieving cost will cost you around $3,000 to $4,000. Wow. You know? Yes. So it is the so-called people in the state that has it, that can store it. Not everybody can just do that. But freely
be able to afford.
Yeah.
So if you start storing and you get to a point you are not able to pay for rent, what happens? They are ejected?
Well, it's a contract. You sign a contract.
Yes.
So you know you should pay. It's like, yeah, you're ejected. So when you're ejected, it means sometimes, because it's expensive to store it. So if
I give it to you right now, you wouldn't do anything to it.
They will discard it sometimes, yes. I mean, but it's in a contract. It's a legal document that you sign. They tell you if you don't do this and that. So you should know what you are going into.
So the women who are saying no to every man that comes their way, you must know that you don't have time on your side. You and time, as a woman, you are not friends. Men at the age of 100, as long as the penis can rise,
that's the point.
They can have children.
That's a good point. As long as you can erect.
As long as you can erect. But my dear daughters, the young women, please.
I think you can close off. People want to know how they can reach the doctors, and they are still punching on the costs. Is there something that they'll have to contact you to know?
Yeah.
Or you can give ideas?
We don't like talking about cost, but because it's individualized.
Okay.
One person's problem will be different, and based on what your problem is, then the cost comes in. Yes. So if you want to talk about cost, then it may scare somebody, but her problem may not be that. It's expensive. That's what you know. It's quite expensive, but there are times that we also help put a humanitarian face to it, and then.
And do you pay cash down, or you can pay deposits as you go along? You pay.
So yes, it depends on the center. For some centers, if you don't pay everything, they won't start. Somebody will say pay 75% and we start. I mean, I have a very flexible of doing my thing that. But at least by the time we have finished the procedure, I should have finished paying. And then I have a lady. She wants to, every time she puts some, keep it, so I'll put it into the account. Then she'll tell you, I'll put it into the account. So, I mean, like that. So, yes, you help them out. And sometimes, as I was saying, you do it and then the person doesn't have the money. She's pregnant. She doesn't have the money. What are you going to do? You just let it go. But
so where can people find you if they're looking for you?
We'll leave numbers, but I have a practice. You know, this is I practice in Dansoma, YMB Medicare, where I have a practice there. It's in Dansoma, and I can leave the number. If they want to, they can come and then they contact me, and then once they find me, they'll find them. I go everywhere with him.
Wow.
Because I can't work without him.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So please, if you want to reach the doctors, kindly send a message to us +233 200 515 253. Our officers will get you the contacts and direction to their location, and you can have an engagement with them. Mama Rita.
So if there's any advice or anything you want to give to the young couples.
Let me speak so that you speak to final.
Yes, speak.
Good.
So you can...
So, for my dear guys, though we are saying that age do not catch up with men, after 45, 50, the quality of your sperm is drastically also reduced. You might have it, but it may not do anything. That's why in the introduction, you might have heard that my name was mentioned as the first to introduce the DNA Fragmentation Index in the country. It is a test that we do such that we can tell the amount of the sperm, the number of sperm that have got their DNA intact. And it is also affected by age. So please, do not say that, oh, me, I'm a guy, I have it there.
Tell them.
You have it there, but do you know whether it can work or not? You need to. You can even walk into a fertility center and check about how good you are. But that does not even end there unless you do that DNA fragmentation thing and you find out that you are good. But for the ladies, like Mommy said, do not wait and throw men away. Please. Because time will not wait for you. And the way that our environment and the things that we are anticipating for, it cannot help us. So please, if you finish your BSc and you get a job, find something. Find a guy who is interested in you. Rome was not built by a day. You can start life with that person and have one child at least. Then you can proceed and build yourself, come back again, try and see if some will come again. But that one, you'll be stress-free. I think this is enough, and my friend here was crazy.
I mean, I'll just say that, I mean, there are ways that would help people who have challenges to get children. They are available. And we have clients all the way. They come have babies in Paris, US, UK, all over the place. Someone just sent me, when are you coming to Paris? You are waiting for you. They have twins there. So it's not that it's not available in Ghana. Everything is available. You just have to know where to go to find out. And then so come and see us. If there's an issue, we'll see how best we can do to help you out. And as I always say, we don't determine, it's God that determines. So let's pray about it, as he said. And I'm happy about what he said about praying for them, because it makes our work easy. Because once you've done that, then, I mean, the foundation has already been laid. So we pray about it, and you come, we'll do the best for you. And then you also get your miracle.
Thank you so much for being with us on Family Life. It's been very educating. It's been emotional. It's even been stressful for me. My heart desire is that at least every woman gets a child. Young ladies, please. The clock is ticking. You don't have time on your side. When the men come, please, as long as they are born again, they have the character, educational level, go in for it. Get one child and you can relax and have fun. For the guys who think that they can produce sperms at any age, we have been told that the quality of the sperm is also very important. Once you get married, settle down, have one, and have fun. I want to pray for everyone, especially those who are going through IVF and those who have decided to go through IVF. I pray a struggle-free IVF. I pray that the Lord will be with you. The Lord will answer you. You won't have to go through a second, a third, a fourth, even to the 12 before you have a child. I declare you whole. Amen. That the first attempts, you will get your child in the name of Jesus. Yes, and any woman, any couple that is listening to me and is watching Powerline TV, and you are desperate in need of a child, I pray that from tonight, the Lord will visit you If there is any royal that is listening to me and watching me, may the God of Apostle General come through for you. May he wipe your tears, place laughter in your mouth, place dancing at your feet, and give you a testimony and a story to share with the world.
Jesus.
I will hear your testimony.
Amen.
In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Same time, same day next week, you will see us. We will find out how many questions we haven't been able to answer. We will discuss with Dr. Boachi and Dr. Ba if they will be able, their job schedule would allow them to come back next week. God bless you. Have a good night. Sleep well. And I love you. From the team,
Sharp.
Powerline TV, we say thank you. And to Dr. Boachi and to Dr. Ba, I feel so privileged. So privileged. You can imagine when I saw the woman's story and I heard it. And today, I'm not just seeing it on TV, but I have you in my studio. God bless you. May the Lord bless the works of your hands.
Amen.
That any woman, any man you attend to, may they have testimonies.
Amen.
May your names go down in history.
Amen.
May Mother Ghana salute you
Yes,
for the job you are doing. God bless you. Generations will remember you for what you are doing.
Amen.
God bless you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you.